Hey, is it about price only what we as procurement professional negotiate with our supplier? Or there is something else beyond price negotiation? Hello negotiators, my name is Montu Verma and I am a procurement expert. In this video, we have Vivek Jain who is very passionate about procurement and supply chain and he will share his experience on negotiation beyond the price. If you will go through this video until end, then you will get to know how and what you can achieve beyond price. So stay tuned.
If we are placing a order, these all are the big orders. The other terms is also very important. So on these terms we are going to discuss in today's session.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Vivek.
Montu.
So I need to share your PPT right now.
Yeah, Montu.
Sure, just a moment. Yes, Vivek. Here we go. Vivek, is it
Montu, can
visible?
you present in the PPT format?
Is it visible to you? Vivek, can kindly confirm?
Yes, now Montu, it's visible.
Thank you.
Okay. So I am just going to give you the background about this project. As just I told you, this presentation we are going to share our experience, except the payment terms. What are the important factor, which is important when you are negotiating for the high value order. So come to the next page, Montu, please.
Yes.
Okay. So these are the important factor. We being a buyer, we always focus on the cost factor. Okay, this is our first priority. But apart from these, we need to be focused on the other factor, which is very important for a good negotiation. Let's say the payment terms, delivery and the income terms, force major clauses. The force major clauses it's play very important role in this COVID pandemic, and order cancellation clause, non-disclosure agreement. So we are going to discuss all these clauses and what is the importance of these clauses. Okay. So let me ask you the one question. Once you are, it's a two-way communication, guys. We are going to discuss. You can ask me the question. I can share my experience. You can also share your experience. So for the payment terms, once we are discussing with our supplier, how you are going to calculate the payment terms. Let's say one supplier is saying 60 days and one supplier is asking 100% advance. So what is the way you are calculating the payment terms? Anybody can tell me?
Hi Vivek, this is Kush here.
Yes, Kush.
Yeah, in our organization, we used to make a apple to apple comparison to get visibility of all proposal in the same format. So there is no different payment terms for all suppliers, and we took reference from our indirect sourcing policy for benchmarking the payment terms.
Okay. So Kush, here I am asking. I'll share in my further slide what we are negotiating the payment terms and how we are calculating the payment terms. Here I am particularly talking about the capital PO, which we are releasing for the high value PO.
Mm.
So once we are discussing with the supplier, because in the capital investment, we don't know to the supplier background. Let's say the new technology come in the market, okay, and your management has decided to place a order to the supplier, which is located in the other country. Let's say in the Korea, Dakshin Korea or China or any other company. So you don't know about the supplier background, you don't know anything, but this is the supplier survive is there and they have a technology. And you are sitting in India, being a buyer, if you are going to place the order, so on which payment terms you are going to continue with the order, so that it's a win-to-win situation for buyer and the seller. Anyone can tell me?
So LC payment.
Correct, correct. Right. So, like that, we are going to discuss all the payment terms clauses which we are going to mention in the big high value order. So, that is the one part we are going to cover. Another part is the delivery and the Incoterms, the importance of the delivery in Incoterms. The third one is the force majeure clause. Anyone know about the force majeure clause?
It's like which is not in it's like uh, due to if the production is ready, and sometime it's due to force majeure like earthquake or cyclone, all the our products get damaged. Like this kind of clause we can
Correct.
consider.
Correct, Milling. So the force majeure, I am going to share. I am going to just share the definition of the force majeure clause and how it will work for the purchase order. Here we are going to discuss for the buyer interest or the company interest. So how we can secure the company side, that I am just going to let you know with the force majeure clause and what is the importance of the force majeure clause. Then the order cancellation clause, this is equally important for the higher value, because due to specific reason you are going to cancel the order, then you need to be mentioned the order cancellation clause in your order, so that it's a legal terms. Otherwise, it's very difficult to take back the advance payment and whatever advance you have given to the supplier. And the last one is the non-disclosure agreement. And normally it's a two type of the agreement: non-disclosure agreement or bilateral disclosure agreement, BCDA and NDA. Normally in the terminology of the purchase, we are saying NDA and BCDA. So that also we are going to discuss in the further slide. I want to just move on the next slide, please. So we are not here, we are not going to cover the costing part, because in the past already we have seen a lot of presentation on the costing and the negotiation of the price. So apart from the costing, what are the important terms uh, which is to negotiate with the supplier, that we are going to cover in today's presentation. So payment terms and the condition, which are the clause we are mentioning in the payment terms, that's it: advance bank guarantee. Next one is the performance bank guarantee, and third one is the letter of credit, which you said, which is used normally for the imported order. So I am just going to uh, share with the supplier one and the supplier two. There is a one case study. So we need to be see how we are going to calculate to the payment terms with the help of this case study. Okay, the first one is the advance bank guarantee. So advance bank guarantee, once we are giving to the advance to the any supplier, we are ensuring our payment with the advance bank guarantee. So which are the payment terms normally you use for the high value order? Can anybody tell me?
Uh, Initially, it's for payment terms 10% against the ABG, and 10% or 20% against the submission of drawing and documents for the manufacturing clearance, and remaining 60 to
Okay,
70% it will be after means completion or production, means material is ready to dispatch,
okay,
dispatch after means say IR inspection release note and once we received, and
hmm,
remaining last 10% against the PVG.
okay. So once you are discussing with the supplier, for the advanced bank guarantee, the bank will be involved in that, correct? So that we can
Yes.
save and secure our money, whatever we are paying to the supplier. So once the bank involved is there is a bank charges there. Normally, if you ask to the supplier, supplier will ask you, no, sir, I cannot give the bank guarantee. Increase 0.5% or 1% charges is there. So they need to be block their money with the bank. But as per once we are discussing for the high value order, we need to be insured for the advanced bank guarantee. Don't give any advance without advanced bank guarantee. I am just sharing my experience with all of the buyer. Advanced bank guarantee, here you are securing your money with the supplier, because you don't know in this situation, like in this pandemic situation or the current scenario of the business scenario, we need to be secure company front. Being a buyer, if something is going wrong, everything is come to you. So always you prefer to the advanced bank guarantee for the high value order. Here I am not talking about the small value order. Here I am talking about the high value order or the capital investment. So advanced bank guarantee is one of the factor which needs to be covered in our advance payment in payment terms condition. The next is the performance bank guarantee, where we are secure for the quality of the product, whatever we are getting from the supplier, so that we can secure the performance and the quality of the product. That's the reason we are taking the performance bank guarantee. It's equivalent to the advanced bank guarantee. Bank is involved in that. Something is going wrong, if any product in fail to perform, then we can go with the bank, and the performance bank guarantee is normally valid for the 1 year, or it's depend on your negotiation with the supplier. You can keep for the 2 years or for the 3 years, but normally it will be for the 1 year. Supplier bank guarantee cover your all guarantee and warranty period. So if supplier is not responding to you, you can go with the bank and claim this 10% amount. Normally we are keeping the 10% against the performance bank guarantees, depend on the negotiation. Third one is the letter of credit, which normally use for the import order, because we don't know the suppliers repo and the suppliers sitting in the others country. We do not have any much more idea. That's the reason we are letter of credit used for the all the import orders, for all the big orders. So here is the one case. Supplier 1, the total order value is 1 CR, and the supplier 2, the order value is 1.01 CR. Supplier 1 is not ready to reduce. He is asking 100% advance payment. The supplier 2 is the payment terms is agreed on the 60 days net. Now, which one is the L1 supplier with respect to the payment terms, that we need to be calculate. So anyone can tell me which one is the L1 supplier with respect to the payment terms?
The supplier too.
Supply
Supplier
to,
two.
How?
if
Because
you
our
calculate the interest rate and interest rate of a month, the landed cost, would be the same as per supplier to.
Correct, correct. Can you move to the next slide, Montu?
Sure.
Okay. So here is a small calculation. Let's say the supplier 1 is asking the 100% advance payment. In this case, if we are considering the bank interest charge per annum, let's say the 10%, then the interest cost per annum may be for on the 1 CR, it's 1 lakh rupees. So for 60 days credit, it will be a total 1.66 lakhs. So your total landed cost or your total cost, we are going to 1.1016 lakhs rupees for the supplier 1. But for the supplier 2, it will be 1.01 60 days credit. So in this way, let's say for the high value order, I am just sharing you the example. If you are going to place the order of 4 million, 5 million, $6 million, so the importance of the payment is very much important. In this way, we are going to calculate the payment terms. So normally everyone is preferring the same formula. This how we are going to calculate the payment terms. These are the formula which we are using for the calculating of the payment terms. In the next slide, delivery and the Incoterms, where we are covering delivery terms. Normally, we are preferring the X work, CIF, DDP, and FOB. Delivery, if normally we are preferring X work to our company, so that all the insurance and the damage charges will cover in the supplier portion. So that normally we'll prefer on the X work company. For the import order, CIF and DDP and freight on the board is the normally terms which are using for the delivery clauses. So in the CIF, cost, insurance, and freight, we are preferring because so that all the insurance and the freight is covered in the CIF. So as per the buyer interest, we always need to be preferred to the CIF. DDP, delivery duty paid. DDP is the delivery duty paid, which we can prefer once it's a very rarely case supplier is agreed on the DDP. Very rarely case. For the big order, nobody will be ready on the DDP because they don't know about the duty parts of the individual country. Freight on the boat, it's a very common terms which supplier always prefer on the freight on the boat, but as a buyer side, we always need to be choose the CIF. CIF should be specifically mentioned in the order because you are placing the high value order. The CIF should be your nearest port or airport. The next one is the force majeure clause. Okay, so it's a play a very important role in this pandemic situation. In my company or every company use this clause in the COVID-19 situation. So you need to be ensure your purchase order or your order terms and condition have the force majeure clauses. Okay, I am just brief you about the what is the force majeure clause. Force majeure clause is applicable in case of the natural disaster, in case of the world war, in case of with the not in the control of the human. Let's say the COVID-19 situation where the force majeure clauses is applicable. So in this clause, you can send a mail or you can send a letter to your supplier. We are going to applicable this force majeure clause with effect from so and so date, and we are holding your services for so and so times. Whatever the times is there, let's say in the force in this pandemic situation, this start from the March, or once your operation or your plant is going to resume, let's say from the May. So for these 2 months, you did not to pay anything to your all the service provider, or if you are going to cancel your order, this you can use these force majeure clauses. Anybody have any question on this force majeure clauses?
Vivek Kush again. I have a question
Yes,
on Incoterms.
Okay.
So, what is the difference between FOB and FOR?
FOR is a freight on road. It's normally prefer for the let's say not for the imported term. It's not an import term. It's a delivery term for the domestic. And FOB is a freight on board, and this is used for the import order.
So in FOB, let's say we importing the goods from China. So
Okay.
the Incoterms is a FOB. Then
Okay.
what will be the responsibility of buyer in that case?
In this case, the responsibility of the seller, they will just provide you whatever the material and equipment to have on the nearest port.
Okay.
From port, your
With
freight
respect to
forward
buyer
need to be
location,
pick
right?
this material. Correct.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. With respect to buyer location, the port location is nearby buyer location, right?
No, no.
No. Freight on beds is
It's
their country port, not your country port. In the
like
CIF, you can
Okay.
mention. Let's say if you are picking a material from the China, and in the
Hmm.
China is the country is Shanghai. So near Shanghai, whatever port is there, they will just drop you the material and the equipment. From there, your freight forward need to be pick the material.
Okay. Got it.
Got it?
And
Yeah. In the
so,
CIF, cost
hmm.
insurance freight, let's say you can put a CIF Nava Shiva. It's a Mumbai port. ICD Dasarath, Nawashipa, or the Mumbai airport, you can put in your order. So, but you need to be specifically mention your order CIF where, CIF, where is your nearest location, you can put in your order. So these all are the very important thing we need to be covered in our order, because you are going to place a very high value order. So at the last moment, if you want to avoid any dispute with the supplier, you need to be focused on these terms.
Actually, we familiar with this CIF, DDP, and all these except FOB. So that point of I was questioning to you. Second one is this force majeure clause. Once the force majeure clause is active, and if you communicate to your chain partner, then what will be the situation? For an example, if you need one material within a week, and the force majeure clause is active, so in that case, we can cancel the order, or we can terminate the order, or how we can settle it out?
See, it's applicable on the both the party, supplier
Mm.
and the buyer. Okay. From the buyer side, if you are sending a letter to the supplier, boss, it's going on the force major clauses is applicable in your, it's your reason. If something, let's say the earthquake is come, okay, everything is just break it down, and you are not going to run your plant. So in this case, the force major clauses is applicable. Whatever the order you have placed and you have mentioned the force major clause in order, you can hold all the order till the further instruction, or you can even cancel the order. It's a legal term, so legally you can cancel the order.
No, but what if we required material and in supply location, that situation will occur?
Correct.
In that case,
Then
what?
supplier also can send you the letter, because of the force majeure clause. We are unable to arrange the delivery, so you can't put the late delivery clause on this.
Okay, once this clause is activate,
Yes. See,
we will
I
not be
think a
able
lot
to.
of company use this clause in this situation, and they have done the saving. Even I have done the $200K saving to use this force majeure clause in this pandemic situation. So what you need to be doing this force majeure clause. Let's say once the COVID-19 has started in the month of the March, so you have placed the order to all your service provider, security, canteen, or employee transport, housekeeping supplier. So your plant is completely shut down, and you are not going to use these services. Correct.
No,
So
but I'm
in this
talking
force
about the
majeure
vice
clauses,
versa
if
situation.
sorry.
I'm talking about the vice versa situation. As an essential commodity, our plants are running on, and we need a material from the supplier, or we need a service from a supplier, and supplier not going to provide a services or material at our side. So
But
will
if there
supply.
is a situation of the force majeure clauses, you can't do anything. Matlab even
Hmm.
legally, if you'll
So
go
we
in
have
the
to
court,
compromise with our
you
supplier.
can't. Yes, yes. It's a vice versa. It's applicable on the buyer as well as the seller both.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So Vivek, there is a
Okay.
big question. There is a big question as what we should do as a buyer if someone supplier from supplier side canceling the order or holding the order, holding the supply. So how we will treat in that case? So how we will make sure our business continuity? So that is the big question.
About to this force majeure clauses, no, it's applicable if on the buyer and the seller both, and is a legal terms. So if something disaster is happening at the supplier end, you can't challenge to the supplier, or you can't debit to the supplier because of the these force majeure clauses. So normally on the safe and the secure side, if you are placing to the high value order, we are mentioning this force majeure clauses even for the all the service contract. So if you are saying if something is going wrong, then you need to be find an alternate supplier, or find a other way to run your plant. Let's say if the something is going wrong in the China, and the war is started between the China and the US. So you can't do anything in this case. You need to be find a local source or other source to run your for your raw material, to arrange a raw material or any equipment.
मोन्टू मैं यहाँ कुछ ऐड कर सकता हूँ?
Hi Sinha Saab,
Sorry.
welcome. Please, you can add.
जितनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस होती हैं, दे हैव वन बेसिकली सेक्शन व्हिच इज कॉल्ड बिजनेस कंटिन्यूटी डिपार्टमेंट। वो बेसिकली क्या है, वो डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट को रीड करती हैं। देयर आर टू काइंड ऑफ अ डिजास्टर विच यू कांट प्रेडिक्ट, लाइक अर्थक्वेक, वॉर, जिनको आप प्रेडिक्ट नहीं कर सकते हो, जिनको आप स्केलेबल नहीं कर सकते हो, जिनको आप होल्ड नहीं कर सकते हो। लाइक यहाँ के ऊपर ये जो पेंडेमिक थी, इट वाज वेल कैलकुलेटेड, पीपल नोज इन देयर माइंड। तो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन व्हाट डज इट, व्हेन दे केम अक्रॉस दिस काइंड ऑफ अ सिनेरियो, उनके पास ये इंफॉर्मेशन चैनलाइज होके पहले से चली आती है। तो समहाउ सम काइंड ऑफ, क्योंकि उनको ये पता होता है कि जब इस टाइप की सिचुएशन आएगी तो उनका भी प्रोडक्शन स्लो डाउन होगा। इवन इफ दे हैव बेसिकली प्लांट, अगर उनका 100% रन हो रहा है, तो उनको पता होता है कि इस पैंडेमिक सिचुएशन के अंदर 25-30% या 40% पे प्लांट रन होगा, तो दे क्रिएट इन्वेंट्री। तो फोर्स मेजर क्लॉज जिसके साथ आपने टाई अप किया उसके साथ तो एलिजिबल रहेगा, बिकॉज वो वेंडर अगर वहां के ऊपर उस कंट्री में बैठा है जहां का सारा सिनेरियो सिस्टम बंद हो गया है, वो एक अलग केस है, वो नहीं सप्लाई कर सकता। बट आपके पास अल्टरनेटिव, हमेशा उस सोर्स का कोई ना कोई अल्टरनेटिव होगा। ऐसे केस में ये बहुत रेयर होता है कि आपके पास कोई अल्टरनेटिव सिलेक्शन ऑफ आइटम हो ही ना। जनरली ये बहुत हाई प्रिसीजन इंजीनियरिंग में होता है, या आप ये कह सकते हैं कि मेडिकल बैकग्राउंड्स पे होता है, या कोई ऐसा फिनोमिनल कंपोनेंट या डिटेल्स होती है जिनका आपके पास कोई सेकंड सोर्स होता ही नहीं है, तो यू आर 100% डिपेंडेंट ऑन दैट।
Normally, sir,
That's all.
for the all the raw material or for the direct purchase, they are keeping the alternative supplier. But I don't think so. We are keeping alternative supplier in the non-production purchase or in the indirect purchase.
यस एग्जैक्टली, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग कि नॉन प्रोडक्शन के अंदर तो कोई इशू ही नहीं होता है जनरली। ये डिजास्टर जो होते हैं, ये डिजास्टर जितने भी दिस काइंड ऑफ अ डिजास्टर तो कभी भी मतलब लास्ट 100 ईयर्स में तो हुआ ही नहीं है, किसी ने एज्यूम ही नहीं किया। मतलब आई मीन टू से दैट कि जनरली ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के पास अल्टरनेटिव सोर्स होते हैं चीज़ों को रखने के, बाई करने के, इन्वेंट्री के। और अगर आप देखिए तो जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस इम्पैक्टेड नहीं होती, जिसको हम इसेंशियल सर्विसेज बोलते हैं, वो उस टाइम भी रन कर रही थी और इफेक्टिवली रन कर रही थी। डेफिनेटली प्रोडक्शन उनका स्लो डाउन हुआ था, बट मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो होती है सिचुएशन में रन करती हैं।
Very true.
Applicable, the applicability of this clause, normally we are putting, let's say I am talking about for the high value order. So from the buyer side, I am just securing my interest if something is going wrong and if I need to be cancelled my order, so that I can use this clause.
Yes, exactly. But dear, you know, आप दो चीजें देखो। इफ यू हैव कोई भी बड़ा वैल्यू ऑर्डर, कोई भी अगर आपका बड़ा वैल्यू ऑर्डर्स होते हैं, यू रन ऑन सम रिलेशनशिप। कोई बड़ा वैल्यू ऑर्डर वन टाइम जनरली बहुत रेयर होता है। कोई मशीनरी बाई कर रहे हैं, देन इट्स अ डिफरेंट इशू। अदरवाइज अगर कंटिन्यूअस मूवमेंट है, यू मस्ट हैव सम काइंड ऑफ रिलेशनशिप। तो जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो आपको मटेरियल नहीं दे पा रही है बिकॉज ऑफ फोर्स मेजर, वो आपको सजेस्ट करते हैं कि आप यहाँ मूव कर जाओ, यहाँ मूव कर जाओ। क्योंकि ये केस मेरे बेसिकली कैरियर के अंदर हुआ था। मैंने अपना कैरियर स्टार्ट किया था तो 1999 में हुआ था, और वो भी ऑटोमोबाइल की कंपनी थी जिसके अंदर कुछ प्रॉब्लम आई थी और वो बैंकरप्सी में चली गई थी। तो जितने भी मेजर सप्लायर थे, दे हैव गिवन अल्टरनेटिव सोर्स, क्योंकि वो वहां से सप्लाई नहीं कर पा रहे थे बिकॉज ऑफ देयर कंट्री रिस्ट्रिक्शन टू नॉट टू सप्लाई दिस कंपनी। और वो कंपनी का जो एक यूनिट हमारे यहाँ इंडिया में भी था, तो ये प्रॉब्लम हुई थी। बट दैट सप्लायर हैज गिवन अल्टरनेटिव सोर्स कि आप यहाँ से बाई कर लो, वी विल सपोर्ट यू, बट वी कैन नॉट सप्लाई यू बिकॉज माई कंट्री हैज स्टॉप दैट मटेरियल। वो उन्होंने उनको रोक दिया था कि अभी आप कुछ सप्लाई नहीं करोगे टिल द टाइम द सिचुएशन विल नॉट सेटल डाउन, और जो कमर्शियली या लीगली चीजें जब तक सेटल डाउन नहीं हो जाती।
सुनील जी, क्वेश्चन है।
यस,
ये जो आपने मेंशन किया कि आपको इन फोर्स मेजर कंडीशन आपको आपके चेन पार्टनर ने अल्टरनेटिव सोर्स ऑफर किया था, सो वो ऑफर करने के लिए भी कुछ क्लॉजेज है लाइक लायबिलिटी क्लॉज और टेक और पे समथिंग, और इट इज बेस्ड ऑन डिपेंडेंट ऑन ओनली रिलेशन बेसिस?
नहीं, उन्होंने तो मुझे सजेस्ट कर दिया कि आपको ये अल्टरनेटिव ऑप्शन यहाँ से मिल जाएगा। हाउ आई शुड बाय विद दैट सप्लायर दैट रिमेन्स है। उन्होंने ये नहीं बोला कि वो वहां से परचेज करके मुझे देंगे। मतलब दे से कि मैं आपको किसी भी तरीके से लीगल बाउंडिंग के अंदर, मेरे कंट्री के रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन लीगल बाउंडिंग के अंदर, आई कैन नॉट सप्लाई यू, बट आई कैन हेल्प यू आउट बिकॉज यू हैव अ वेरी लॉन्ग रिलेशन विद मी, और हम अपना रिलेशन इस पूरे सिनारियो में आपके साथ ब्रेक नहीं कर सकते। we will see how the legal battle will go in the future. वो एक अलग बात है. The organization has closed down the operation worldwide. वो एक अलग बात है. But on other hand, they have supported us. उन्होंने हमें उस पूरे जो भी डिजाइन पैटर्न था, उस डिजाइन पैटर्न को सप्लायर के साथ डिस्कस करके दे हैव गिवन. सो दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग कि जनरली ऐसा होता है, एक कंट्री में प्रॉब्लम अगर आती है तो वो जो बंदे होते हैं वो आपको कोई ना कोई सजेशंस देते हैं. ऐसा रेयर केस होता है कि जब सब कुछ रुक जाए. अगर आप देखो इंडिया में तो इतनी बड़ी प्रॉब्लम आने के बाद भी एसेंशियल कमोडिटी कहीं हिट नहीं हुई थी.
Exactly.
अगर आप गौर से देखो एसेंशियल कमोडिटी हिट नहीं थी, क्योंकि बिजनेस कंटिन्यूटी प्लान जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थे, जितने बड़े ऑर्गेनाइजेशन थे, उनके पास पहले से ही प्रिपेयर्ड था. बिकॉज ये प्रॉब्लम आने के बाद 3 महीने लगे थे इंटरनेशनली इस प्रॉब्लम को इम्पोज होने में. तो जो उनका डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट जो डिपार्टमेंट्स होते हैं, दे कैलकुलेट एवरीथिंग.
आई थिंक सिन्हा साहब, इसमें एक चीज ऐड करना चाहूंगा. लेट्स से इन द कोविड सिचुएशन योर डिजास्टर मैनेजमेट कैन वर्क आउट on that, but what about for the earthquake? If earthquake is coming and your company is going completely not
बिल्कुल एब्सोल्युटली. मैंने आपको पहले ही अपने स्टेटमेंट में बोला था डियर कि कुछ ऐसे डिजास्टर होते हैं जिनको आप कैलकुलेट कर सकते हो, कुछ ऐसे डिजास्टर होते हैं जिनको कैलकुलेट नहीं कर सकते.
करेक्ट
अर्थक्वेक हो गया, कोई ऐसा वॉर क्राइम हो गया, आप कैलकुलेट कर ही नहीं सकते हो. कैसे करोगे? आप कर ही नहीं सकते.
correct
तो वो वहाँ
because
का
in the automobile company, because of the COVID also, I'll tell you a lot of our OEMs, let's say Honda and the Maruti, they have hold their material because a lot of materials coming from the China.
yes,
So
exactly.
they need a time, at least they have taken 15 days or 20 days to find out the alternate supplier production, and they need to be check all the parameters whether it's fulfill their requirement or not. Based on that, they have started their production.
Agreed,
So
dear,
what I'm
but
saying,
I have used the manufacturing of essential good. These
Correct.
automobile come under the part of the essential good. Essential good has not been hampered, if you see that. आप पूरा लास्ट 6 मंथ का अगर आप डेटा उठा के देखेंगे, इसेंशियल सर्विसेज में कहीं पे कोई भी चीज रुकी नहीं थी. चाहे एक्स लोकेशन की जगह वाई लोकेशन से वो मटेरियल आया हो, गवर्नमेंट हैज सपोर्टेड, एवरीथिंग हैज मूव्ड ऑन. उसके लिए कोई भी शिप मूवमेंट यूज हुआ हो, ट्रांसपोर्ट मूवमेंट, वो चलता रहा, वो इम्पैक्ट नहीं हुआ. हाँ, नॉन एसेंशियल कमोडिटी के अंदर तो हमेशा ही ऑप्शंस होते हैं. आप चलाओगे, नहीं चलाओगे, रखोगे, या अगर आपकी सेल ही नहीं होगी तो वाई यू विल क्रिएट इन्वेंट्री.
correct.
सॉरी, मैं बीच में आ गया. Okay, go ahead, dear.
Good to share your experience. So we can also, because here we are talking about what are the classes, because in the COVID situation, this all the class play a very important role. See, I'll share my example, because now our plant is shut down 2 months, completely 2 months, from the March, April and May. So we got instruction from the management, and we have already clear instruct over all the supplier and the service providers, specifically to the service provider, not to the supplier. We are not going to pay you the single penny if you are not provided the service. So where we have uses the force majeure clauses to hold the service.
So Vivek,
Let's say the housekeeping.
yes, Vivek, sorry to hold you. I need to give my input on this. So this is the beauty of our procurement Vale group, and that is the reason we are here. We are here to share our perspective, our views on such procurement negotiation pointers. So this is a great discussion. Anybody else would like to share his or her perspective on this clause? Most welcome. No problem. So Vivek, we can continue now. Thank you.
Okay. So I think the force majeure clauses, we have covered all the factors and all the parameters where this force majeure clauses is applicable. If someone have any question, they can ask. The next is the order cancellation clause. The order cancellation clause is equally important. Like you are mentioning the payment terms in your high value order, the order cancellation clause is also very important. This clause is playing a very important role if because of some reason you are going to cancel your order. Normally order cancellation clause in the same way, like we are putting the payment terms, in the same way we are putting the order cancellation clause is the 10% against DAP. If I am going to close the order. DAP is a design approval process. After design, then the 10% we need to be pay, and whatever the advance payment we have given to the supplier, they need to be pay back to the company. So order cancellation clause, we need to ensure for the all the high value order, we need to be covered these clauses. In the same way, it's covered to the WIPs. If something is, you can say in mid, you are going to cancel the order, and the work has already started, work in the progress, then only the 30% will be deducted. So 30, 30, 30, then 10, like that. You can mention the order cancellation clause in your order. The last one is the non-disclosure agreement. So normally, I don't know too much about the others company, but in the automobile, your design is very important. So for every supplier, for all the big value order, and where we are going to share our data to the supplier or our design details to the supplier, we need to be do the non-disclosure agreement, so we can secure our design and the details, company details. So this is one of the legal terms. Here we can one more agreement is there, BCDA, bilateral disclosure agreement, where both the supplier and the buyer are sharing the details. Anyone have used these clauses, or do you have any question on this? Is it okay?
I
Uh,
Sir,
have a one.
we used to use NDA during the technology procurement, wherein case we buy a new technology or new complete customized package from the overseas. So we use these clauses. Yes.
डियर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है इसके अंदर आपका एक ऑर्डर कैंसिलेशन क्लॉज का
हम्म
है सपोज कर लो कि आपने किसी बंदे को ऑर्डर दिया हाई वैल्यू ऑर्डर
हम्म
वो डिजाइन आपका है
हम्म
मतलब वो प्रोडक्ट जो है वो कस्टमाइज्ड है एक्सक्लूसिवली आपके लिए उस बंदे ने वो प्रोडक्ट को मैन्युफैक्चर करके अपने पास रख लिया या खरीद के अपने पास रख लिया तो ऑन व्हाट बेसिस विल कैंसिल दिस ऑर्डर बिकॉज फोर्स मेजर क्लॉज जो होता है वो हर एक केस में एप्लीकेबल नहीं होता है अगर वो एक्सक्लूसिवली आपके लिए डिजाइन है और वो बंदा कहीं और बेच नहीं सकता बिकॉज आपने उसके साथ एनडीए भी साइन किया है या उसके साथ आपने कोई टेक्नोलॉजी भी उसके साथ एग्रीड की है तो हाउ यू विल कैंसिल दैट परचेज ऑर्डर
with the you are talking about this clause, मतलब order cancellation clause or force majeure clause?
ऑर्डर कैंसिलेशन क्लॉज
ऑर्डर कैंसिलेशन क्लॉज में सर स्टेजेस रहते हैं. आप जैसे बोल रहे हैं कि डिजाइन उसका रहेगा, मतलब डिजाइन में दे आर मतलब सप्लायर इज नॉट गोइंग टू एनीथिंग, द कंपनी इज फॉरवर्ड गिविंग टू द डिजाइन. तो उसमें डिफरेंट डिफरेंट फेसेस रहते हैं. लेट्स से 10% रहता है अगेंस्ट डीएपी. अगर वो जब उसे कुछ करना ही नहीं है तो डीएपी वाला क्लास हट जाएगा. Then with the detail, let's say the 20% against WIP work in progress, अगर in between हम उसको cancel करते हैं तो certain percentage will deduct and then the rest we need to be pay. So this type of the stages पे basis पे वो cancellation होता है. अगर एक certain stage पे पहुंच गया, let's say वो ready for delivery है, तो you can't do anything, you need to be take this. So order cancellation clause वहाँ पर applicable नहीं होता है, वो applicable होता है सिर्फ WIP तक.
जो मेरे जहां तक मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है जहां तक मेरे पास अपना एक्सपीरियंस बैकग्राउंड कहता है कि जो डिजाइन आपका है मतलब बायर ने किसी सप्लायर को कोई डिजाइन दिया एंड दैट डिजाइन इज एक्सक्लूसिवली कस्टमाइज्ड बाय ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मतलब वो कहीं और नहीं बेच सकता तो उस ऑर्डर को आप कैंसिल नहीं कर सकते हो बिकॉज वो आर्बिट्रेशन भी चला जाएगा तुरंत.
So I
ऐसा तो
want
सर आई एम नॉट फेस सच एनी केसेस सो फार जहाँ पर कि स्पेसिफिकली हाँ मतलब बहुत से केसेस में ऐसा हुआ है कि डिज़ाइन जो है हमने दिया है एंड वी आर गिविंग द डिज़ाइन टू द सप्लायर, बट वहाँ पर ऑर्डर कैंसिलेशन क्लॉज मेंशन ना हो, मेंशन तो रहता ही है और इट्स एप्लीकेबल इन.
मैं लोकल परचेज की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ मैं इंटरनेशनल परचेज की बात कर रहा हूँ बिकॉज आपका आर्बिट्रेशन जो है इंटरनेशनल कोर्ट के अंदर बहुत स्ट्रांग होता है और बहुत फास्ट डिसीजन होती है जनरली ऐसे केसेस के अंदर ऑर्डर आप कैंसिल नहीं कर सकते हो तो मैं अपनी नॉलेज के लिए क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा हूँ कि मतलब ऐसे कैसे कैंसिल कर पाओगे आप सपोज कर लिए कोई चीज एक्सक्लूसिवली आपके डिजाइन है और वो फोर्स मेजर आ गया वो एक ऐसी कंडीशन है जो ना आपके कंट्रोल में ना सामने वाले के कंट्रोल में उसमें आप ये कैसे एप्लीकेबल करोगे कि ये ऑर्डर कैंसिल कर दें हम.
The force majeure clause or order cancellation clause, both are the different terminology, sir. Force majeure clause, it's nobody, it's not in anyone control. Order cancellation में clause है कि because of something, let's say company has decided कि okay we are going to manufacturing something, but because of market survey and they come to note that कि नहीं we are going to stop this. तो उन केसेस में जहाँ कर आपने कुछ भी इक्विपमेंट आपने ऑर्डर किया है और आप यू आर गोइंग टू कैंसल दिस ऑर्डर, तो वहाँ पर उसमें जो स्टेजेस रहते हैं उसके हिसाब से अगर सप्लायर ने एग्रीड किया है, सप्लायर एक्नॉलेज योर ऑर्डर, तो दे नीड टू बी एग्रीड ऑन दैट. लेट्स से दे एग्रीड फॉर द 20% की भैया अगर मेरा WIP पे है या वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस पे है तो आप मुझे 30% या 50% जिस पर भी एग्रीड होते हैं, इट मे वेरी, वो बोलेगा आपको मुझे 50% पैसा देना पड़ेगा सर, मैंने क्योंकि मैं WIP स्टेज पर हूँ, तो आपको 50% देना पड़ेगा उसको. 50% आप यू कैन सेव.
Okay. Okay.
So it's depend on the order to order or the negotiation to negotiation.
So
One more
Vivek
question.
and Sinha Saab, I want to add my perspective on this discussion in between. So anything which is not the part of our agreement or our commercial, it's totally depend upon our relationship between buyer and supplier. So anything which is not the part of our agreement, we can still negotiate and still convince them by saying that we will give you the futuristic business basically. So there is a probability वो मान जाए सप्लायर आपकी बात को, और ये जो एक डिबेटेबल पॉइंट है वो एक कंक्लूजन पे आ जाए. सो दिस इज माय पर्सपेक्टिव ऑन दिस. थैंक यू विवेक.
Vivek ji, a question है. During this our force majeure clause discussion, you mentioned that once force majeure clause active, this clause allows supplier to terminate the order, right? So, so what if in the contract or order the order cancellation clause is already mentioned and the force majeure situation is going on?
I think Kush, these both are the different terminology. Force majeure clauses, it's not hand in a human, it's a natural disaster or the war. So उस cases में you can't it's applicable to the both buyer and the seller. So you can't do anything in this case. Even you can't legally go to the court and challenge to the seller कि नहीं आपको delivery करना ही पड़ेगा whether you are not in the position or not.
So there is no
Order
linkage between force
cancellation,
majeure and order
ये
cancellation.
everything is okay. No, it's both are the different. Yes.
Okay.
Order cancellation in there, if you want to cancel your order because your management decision, then you can discuss with the supplier, boss, we have agreed on this order cancellation clause, so now I'm going to cancel this order. So as per our clause, I need to be pay you 30%, 40%, whatever in your order, you need to be pay this to your supplier and cancel this order. So here also you can save 60% money. Let's say if you are 40% to paying to your supplier, against which machine or the equipment which you are not going to use in your company, and here also you are saving 60%. So like that you need to be mentioned in the order.
Hello, Vivek. This is Rohan.
Yes, sir.
I
Rohan
wanted to
Bhatt.
know. I mean, yes, Rohan Bhatt, right. I
Okay.
wanted to know. You have mentioned two clauses. One is force majeure clause, and number two is non-disclosure agreement. How to use these two in case of proprietary items where the design is of the supplier and they are the whole and sole. I mean, what you say, the gurus of those components. I mean, you cannot get those components from any other source, and you are totally dependent on them. So in that case, how to use force majeure clause, and then the second one is NDA. Sorry.
NDA, I think Rohan, you know very well, when we are using the NTA, we are securing the company design and so that they cannot use our design and they cannot sell to the anybody. So
Right.
that's the reason we are signing the NDA. Two
But-
types of
but
the NDAs there.
in
The
case of
BCDA
proprietary
also is
items-
there.
In case of proprietary items, the design is totally of the suppliers. I mean, it's not.
Then
customer-
you did not to sign the NDA, na? No issue. Then you did not to. It's not a mandatory.
Okay.
If you are sharing your company details or your company design data, then only you need to be sign the NDA.
And then how to
Or
deal
supplier
with,
also can put to you on the BCDA. They can tell you, sir, you need to be signed the BCDA, so you also not sharing our data to the any supplier or any other. So they can also force to you to sign this if there is a proprietary item and you know no other supplier available in the market, they can also just tell to you. So you need to be
Because
signed the.
because if you see the clauses what we mentioned in NDA, it's totally company specific. I mean, you have the clauses mentioned that it should benefit the company only, not the supplier. That is what when I go through the NDA, it is purely company oriented, not in favor of the supplier. So I don't think in this case the
So
supplier
uh, in this case, Rohan, if supplier is, let's say, the NDA from the buyer side, if I am the buyer, if I am going to share my company details in the design to the any supplier, my responsibility, I need to be signed the NDA so that I can secure company my interest. Okay. From the supplier side, if the supplier is complete the propriety and the supplier design they are going to use, so it's a supplier interest. If supplier is putting to you, no, you need to be signed the NDA in their format, you need to be signed the NDA. Then you are not going to use your company format. So that
but
format
that
you
is
need to be verified with your legal department. If
right.
something is not mentioned in that, then you can sign.
And how to use this force manual clause in this case for proprietary items? I mean, why you don't have any other source?
Force major clause, it means from buyer side or from the supplier side?
You see, the supplier side is indirectly or indirectly he is at the benefit. I mean, the buyer has to get the component and he has no other source. So definitely, I'm saying from the buyer side.
So let's say if the something is going on at the supplier end, this company is completely
Dependent on
breakdown
that
and
supplier, right?
going down. How you are going to do with that?
See, that is what I am saying. If some supplier there's an earthquake like
So,
situation at some
I
supplier
think you're not Rohan. We have already just discussed on this point. It's applicable on the both on the supplier and the buyer.
right, I agree, but I am saying how to overcome this situation. If the supplier is applying this clause and he is sole propriety item, what I got through this communication is like you have to find some alternate source, right?
Correct. I think
In this case, how to find the alternate source if the item is sole propriety item? Hello.
And I think we should wait and await from a supplier response that how situation get normal, and we support the supplier in that case as well, because this is a not controllable situation from buyer and supplier as well.
Right. This can be the.
I think
So
to answer you, there's no solution for this. So if there is an
Yeah.
earthquake or such situation, there is no solution. Buyer can't do anything in this case.
Okay, fine, okay.
And this is a basically legal clause. I think this is a not purchasing clause which we
No,
regular use.
For
Right.
for in NDA, there is some years of
So, guys, sorry to hold you in between. Vivek, your mic is unmute. Can you please?
no. Actually, NDA what happened? NDA will be hello.
Yes, can you please talk
Hello.
about yourself, your name, and your city from
Vivek
which you are joining us?
Hello.
yes, Milin. Your voice is not coming properly, Milin.
Hello.
It's breaking. Can you hear me, Milin?
No problem, Vivek. Let us
Now it's
continue.
clear.
Yeah,
When we before sending the RFQ, before sending the RFQ, we can send the NDA. If the suppliers agree for that, sign the NDA, then no issue in future. Correct?
Okay.
Because before sending the purchase order, what I did for my last project, my project is a greenfield specialty chemical project is there, and the client is a Swedish company is there. So I send the before sending the RFQ, I asked the vendors to sign the NDA. If a vendor is agree for the NDA, then no issue. But sometimes what happen that the supplier who is a manufacturer, he asks for in there is some share their design, everything like that, just mention in that. Hello.
Yes, Milin. If you are going to share your design details with the RFQ, then before RFQ, you need to be sign the NDA with the supplier.
Yeah, but and in sometimes what happen, that in time limit is also there. Like in my client, he's mentioned that till the 10 years or 25 years, he has to not disclose there's a design. But
The
sometimes the
time
supply is
limit,
not
I
supply.
don't think so. It's a 10 year or 20 year. Might be it's a maximum 2 to 3 years only.
Okay, okay.
Hmm. It's depend
Because
on the company to company. Let's say I do not have any idea about the others, but it's a legal terminology. So as per the company product, they are putting the time limit.
yes, yes. Okay, means before floating the inquiry RFQ, just we have to cross check, because for the future, what are the problems raised, so we can avoid that problems. If we
Correct,
sign that
correct.
NDA before floating the RFQ, no problem. Right.
Correct. So
So
if you are going to share anything, your design data with the RFQ, you need to be sign the NDA before RFQ.
okay.
Correct, Millie?
Hi
The
Vivek,
one
this is
more, I think it's
Rohit.
not in this important terms. The LD clauses, which we are putting for the high value order. The LD is the late delivery clauses. As you know, the high value order, if we are placing this order, it's a very important for the all the greenfield project and for the production purpose. So we need to be ensured the delivery. So that's the reason we are putting the LD clauses. Normally, LD clauses we are putting 0.5% per week or maximum 5%. That's a normal. I am saying it's depend on the order to order or the negotiation to negotiation. So we need to be ensure LD clause should be put in our order. So here the buyer interest is not only to earning something from these clauses, but we need to be ensure the delivery so that we can get the right time delivery. So some pressure on the suppliers. That's the reason we are putting the LD clause in our order.
Vivek, I have a
Anyone have
question on
any
the
question
clauses.
on the LD
Yeah,
clause? Yeah.
yeah. I have a question on the agreements, whether it is NDA or a purchase agreement where we put all these clauses and get it signed from supplier. How to
Mhm.
check the legality of this? So can we say if we put all these terms in a blank paper and get suppliers stamp and authorized signatory, this agreement is legal and we can go to the court, and if there is any issue, we can go to court? Or is there a specific requirement or parameters should be there while signing this agreement? So I want to know the legality of these agreements that we are signing with suppliers.
Rohit, every company have a legal department and they are designing your terms and conditions. Let's say these are all the clause. In this clause, a lot of details in there, when it's implemented, how it's implemented. So that is the part of the legal team. I don't think so. Being a buyer, I can tell you anything on this.
Okay. So because we are signing purchase agreement with all our overseas suppliers, and we are getting just authorized signatory and stamp. Till now, fortunately, we haven't faced any issues. But in case we did, I want to know the legality. If we go to the court, I want to make sure that all the agreements are proper and there is no any issues.
Correct. So in that case, if you are going to sign the agreement, you need to be verify with your legal department.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
One more thing, Rohit, just now you say so juridification also one of the important thing that you need to be ensure with the supplier.
Okay.
Normally, a
Okay.
supplier quotation they have mentioned. Let's say if we are going a high value order, so you need to be check the juridification also, because in the supplier quotation they have mentioned the India juridification in the their quotation. But once we are discussing with the supplier, we need to be clear if we are juridification. A lot of company juridification they are putting Singapore, because Singapore it's
Mhm.
the Singapore country juridification is a very neutral
Okay.
in
Okay.
compared to the buyer and the seller. That's the reason a lot of companies putting the Singapore juridification. So once you are discussing with the majorly with the imported case, you need to be look into that.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, Vivek.
I think that's it from my side.
Hello, Vivek.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one question regarding delivery Incoterm.
Hmm.
That what is CIF?
CIF is the cost, insurance, and the freight, where everything is covered in the seller side, supplier
Okay,
side.
and I have a bad experience on CIF. That if
Hmm.
I fix the term CIF with my supplier, then
Okay.
supplier responsibility is the insurance is up to shipper ports. Means we are buying from Nhava Sheva from
What
Mumbai.
you have mentioned in the order, CIF, Navashiva.
Yeah, CIF Nhava Sheva.
Huh?
So in the pandemic, when in the month of May, we have
Hmm.
received some rusty material.
Okay.
The boxes get the steel get rusty, and
Okay.
my import supplier told me that the terms was CIF. So my responsibility is up to Nhava Sheva only.
So see, their responsibility up to the Navashiv only. That is okay. But insurance is, see, I'll tell you, CIF, Navashiva, if you have mentioned, so the supplier side, the supplier will cover the insurance. Let's say your material is coming through the sea, ठीक है? और सी
Right.
में आपका शिप ही डूब गया है, समथिंग इज गोइंग रॉन्ग विद द शिप, देन वो इंश्योरेंस जो क्लेम करेगा, मतलब आप नहीं, सप्लायर क्लेम करेगा, वो सब आप सप्लायर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज में आ जाएगा। आप जो बोल रहे हो आपका CIF नवाशिवा था, आपने आने के बाद फिर चेक किया और तो वो रस्टी पार्ट निकले, तो फिर आपको आपकी कंपनी का इंश्योरेंस वहाँ पर क्लेम कराना पड़ेगा कि या तो सप्लायर से डिस्कस करना पड़ेगा। अगर क्वालिटी इश्यूज है, लेट्स से देयर इज द क्वालिटी इश्यूज, तो आपको सप्लायर से 1-to-1 डिस्कस करके इसको क्लोज करना पड़ेगा। बट उसमें अगर रस्टी पार्ट आया है, देन यू नीड टू बी गो विथ योर कंपनी इंश्योरेंस कंपनी।
Okay, and what is the best Incoterm for imports?
CIF is the best in code.
Okay, okay.
Normally DDP you can mention, delivery duty paid, but in that case I don't think so your supplier will be ready. Very rarely they are reading on the DDP because they don't know. Yeah, let's say if you are importing from China or the Korea or the Europe country, they don't know about your duty partner, so they will not prefer the DDP. CIF is the one of the best in terms.
Okay, and if I want to take insurance from supplier into my door delivery, then what is the new Incoterm? What is called as
Supplier end to
my end?
your, so if supply, matlab your freight forwarder is going to pick the material from the supplier terms, then is the X for supplier location.
No, no. My Incoterm is ex Nhava Sheva. My supplier will give freight up to Nhava Sheva. Okay, and for I want insurance at my end. Means supplier is responsible for that insurance.
I think one Incoterms is there. I do not just, it's not come in my mind, but some is there where the insurance in the your end, and they will only pay the freight portion.
Okay.
I'll share with you once I'll check. I'll let you know which Incoterms you need to be used for that case.
Okay, because what happened when we are fixing CIF at that time, supplier responsibility up to Nhava Sheva, and when
Correct.
this when our supplier is issuing material to my freight forwarder, okay, so at that time there is a miscommunication. My freight forwarder going to blame on my supplier, and my supplier is going to blame on my freight forwarder. That's the confusion. That's why I ask you, which is the best Incoterm if
But
we have
I
to
think,
secure our material.
Nilesh, I think something is wrong in the CIF. It's the supplier responsibility to arrange the delivery at the CIF, whatever you have mentioned, Navasiva or whatever port. So your freight forwarder did not to play any role. Your freight forwarder only need to clear the material from the custom from this port and deliver to you. It's a completely supplier responsibility till the Navashiva or ICD Dasrath, wherever port you have mentioned in your order.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
So Vivek, can we do one thing?
Yeah, Motu.
नेक्स्ट सेशन में हम प्लान कर सकते हैं इनको टर्म्स के बारे में. Let us brief more about
Correct,
inco
correct.
terms because we have many participant or we have many WhatsApp group members who want to know more about inco terms basically. And inco terms is the prime factor for any commercial or for any import shipment. So my request to all of the participant,
Correct.
कोई भी अपना इस पे पर्सपेक्टिव या अपना व्यूज शेयर कर सकता है. And anybody who wants to share his perspective or her perspective on this Incoterms can contact me directly. Let us plan a session on this separately.
Thank you, Montu.
Thank you.
I think Motu, along with the Incoterms, a lot of terminology is there where you can save the duty part. So because I am not the right person for that, if someone is there in our group who can share some details of the lot of exim clauses is there where you can save the duty, so you can do the saving, but normally it's a part of the logistic team, so if somebody can help in that, so we can discuss even on this.
I think yes, logistics में बहुत ज़्यादा questions होते हैं. Because जब we are sending the repair material to supplier, and then when we receive that material, do we have to pay the custom duty again? If we don't have to, then what documents we need to show? So there are a lot of questions there. So if you can arrange one session, I'll really appreciate it. Thanks, Vivek. Thanks for bringing it up.
So,
Even I'll tell you, once you are, if you have seen the bill of lading, in the bill of lading, how you are going to calculate the total landed cost, there is the input credit. In the bill of lading, whatever the duty we are paying, around 14%, we are taking the input credit. So in the duty portion, if somebody is asked you, normally in the interview, its question is asked, how you going to calculate the landed cost if for the import transaction, have you seen the bill of lading, which are the input credits we are going to tax. So if some a specialist guy in there in our team, then he can share their inputs for this. Yeah, or we need to be fine. Yeah, Motu.
yes. So dear participant, do you have any other question or you want to ask any question to Vivek Jain?
Hi, Vivek, Ramesh here.
Yes, Ramesh.
Yeah, so I have a question on the order cancellation clause, right? What you mentioned it, right? So when we buy a special purpose machine, right? Okay, where we going to customize and kind of a automation project, what we do, right? Okay,
Okay.
so in this case, after DAP approval or the prior, the DAP approval, how do we impose the order cancellation class? Because this is something the supplier bringing the technology for us, to automate our the assembly line or the some of the manufacturing process, right? So how do we impose the order cancellation classes in these cases?
So, Ramesh, I think we had a discussion with the Sinnaji on the same question. Here, it's vary on the order to order. So, if you are going to place a order with the supplier where they are going to design for you, and it's a completely the customized project, they are going to do the automation. So maybe supplier will not agree for the order cancellation, or they might be agreed for the initial stage. So there is a stage we are mentioning in the order if you are going to cancel the order. So it's not a terms where once you are putting in your supplier and supplier will directly agree on that and acknowledge your order. No, they will ask you the question, boss, I cannot agreed on this order cancellation clause, or I can just give you maybe the 5% only because I'm not to do the final inspection or whatever it's the final stage. So they might be agreed on the 5% or the 10% at certain stage. So the stage wise you are putting in your order.
And because where the supplier is not agreed for under order cancellation. Once I give a LOA kind of a purchase order, it is that he is completely the developing for us the technology. So he's saying once you give me the order, I have put complete effort. You need to pay me whatever that the parts I purchased and whatever the development happens. So you need to pay complete amount for me. So he is not at all accepted for any amount the deduction or the order cancellation.
So in this, Ravi, that's the reason once you are negotiating with the supplier, you need to be discussed with the supplier at which stage you agree to do this clause or cancellation clause. Let's say you have just given the LOI and they have not uh, placed any order to their supplier, so that you can discuss with the supplier, because you have not placed any order to your supplier and even you have not paid anything to that. So certain amount you can deduct from my advance payment, let's say 5% or 10%, and give me the return amount. Clause wise you are mentioning in your order. It's completely it's a negotiation. It's just like the payment terms you are negotiating. In the same way you are negotiating to the cancellation clause, because your order is a very high value order. So here from I don't know whether the management every company have some management guideline. You need to be put this clause in your certain threshold orders. So order cancellation is a part of this. So either you can negotiate with the supplier, or you can put, or you can change as per your negotiation.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
So Vivek, I have one more question from my side.
Yeah, amount.
So I want to know, क्या कोई ऐसी सिचुएशन आपके एंटायर एक्सपीरियंस में आई है जहां आपको या आपके सप्लायर को कभी लीगल केस करना पड़े, which is as per your agreed term and condition according to your agreement? Did you face any case study? Would you like to share
Yes,
any
Montu.
case study? Yes.
Yes, that's the reason I am just sharing this PPT, because I have faced such type of with. See, if something is not going wrong, everything is going perfectly, then no issues. You have mentioned in the order, not mentioned in the order, that if something is going wrong, then your management will ask you the question, why you not put these terms in your order. You don't know about that. So that's the reason I am just because I have faced such type of the issues. In my tenure, we have placed order for one automation to the one supplier, but we come to know that later on, whatever the automation he has done earlier for us is not working properly. Because we get this input later from our operation team. Till the time we have placed the order to the same supplier and given the 30% advance payment against the advance. I think in this case we have not taken the advance bank guarantee, because he is our existing supplier. And he said, no, sir, if you are asking about the advance bank guarantee, you need to be paid. At least he is asking 1% or 2% extra. That's the reason. Okay, we agreed on that. Okay, we will. You will not give you the advance bank guarantee. We will give you the some advance. But later on, we come to that from our operation team. No, we do not happy with their last supply automation performance. So we do not want to continue to with the same supplier. They have just sent email. Then we decided to go to the cancellation of this order. So in this case, then they said, no, we have already done the DAP, and we can't give you. So but in our order all the clauses is mentioned, so we can go with the legal. Then a legal team is there, you can forward this case to our legal team. At that time these clause all are very important. That's the reason I am telling you, because we are for the capital. Once you are releasing the capital order, they are in the $1 million. It's a $3 million. For in the automobile company, if you are doing the small automation, the amount is very huge, because you need to be set up a complete line for that. So if we are going to set up a complete press automation, there is a six press or seven presses is there, and you are going to pick and place automation. So a lot of technology is there. It will take 6 months, 7 months to complete establish this automation. So this is one of the cases, and it's a eye broker for me, so that I am just focusing on all the clauses. Whenever I am discussing with the supplier, I am discussing with on all the clauses, one to one. And this is my responsibility to take the acknowledgement from the supplier. They agreed on these clauses. So That's the reason, because in the past session we have already discussed on the costing part. So I think we need to be discuss on the others terms and conditions.
Fantastic.
So we need to be prepared because it might be happen with the everyone in future. If something is wrong and you have not mentioned in clauses, then it's very difficult to reply to your management.
ग्रेट विवेक. सो डियर पार्टिसिपेंट, आप थोड़ा अपने बारे में टाइप करेंगे, लिखेंगे आप किस सिटी से ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं हमें. मैं दिल्ली में हूं, मैं दिल्ली से ज्वाइन कर रहा हूं. आप लोग कहां से ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं? ओके, नीलेश फ्रॉम नासिक, प्रमोद फ्रॉम बेंगलोर, एंड मुंबई, Milind from Mumbai. Thank you, Milind, for asking question and for interacting with us. मयूर गोवा. एंड इतने कौन कौन से लोग ऐसे हैं जो हमें फर्स्ट टाइम ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं इस ग्रुप में?
Montu, Rohan Bhatt. Rohan is my colleague. Even Mobby Matthew is my colleague, ex-colleague. Both are my
Welcome.
ex-colleague.
Welcome, Rohan, and another person, Vivek's colleague.
Matthew, Mobby.
Pramod, you
think
are
he is
joining first
keeping
time. A warm welcome to Procurement Wale Group. So again, this is the beauty of our Procurement Wale Group. On Pan India basis, we have a lot of numbers of procurement professional who is joining us on day-to-day basis. And this is the reason we are growing and we want to grow our network. So मैं आप सभी लोगों से बोलूँगा, इस सेशन को, इस जो भी हम सेशन की रिकॉर्डिंग करते हैं उसके पोस्ट को प्लीज आप और बायर्स के साथ में और प्रोक्योरमेंट प्रोफेशनल के साथ में शेयर करिए, और अपने लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल को या अपने लिंक्डइन पेज को आप सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, एंड इट विल रियली हेल्प अस टू ग्रो माय डियर फ्रेंड्स. और रीजन यही है, मैं बार बार इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ ग्रो करने के लिए, क्योंकि ये एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म बनेगा जहां हम एक दूसरे की हेल्प कर सकते हैं. प्रोफेशनली वी कैन हेल्प ईच अदर टू ग्रो इन देयर प्रोफेशनल कैरियर. सो इट विल बिकम अ great and big platform in India. So my humble submission or my humble request to you, please help us to grow. Any other question? Anybody wants to ask any question?
Vivek Jain, this is Rohan again.
Yes, Rohan.
I wanted to know, see, these Inco terms you have just suggested, these are mostly used by the departments which are more concerned with transportation part. I, as a buyer for direct purchase, how can I use these terms to benefit my organization? Because as an buyer for direct purchase, I don't come to use these terms more frequently. I don't work on these terms more frequently. I just put these clauses in the PO, and I don't work on these clauses. How can I use these clauses to benefit my organization? I just need a few guidelines from you on this.
Rohan, for the direct purchase, I think if you are going to do a domestic transaction, then normally from your side you need to be keep the FOR your company. So these are the common FOR your company, and if you are talking about the benefit of your organization, then in this way you need to be calculate. So let's say in your direct purchase, because the volume is very huge, so your freight cost is also very important. In your costing breakup, the freight cost it's playing a very important role. So if you are thinking the supplier is asking, let's say 5 rupees per kg or the 2% freight charge, so you need to calculate with your internal inbound logistic team whether this cost is we can save something in that, or how we can design the packaging box or something, even the truck size, so that you can in the one lot you can get the lot more material. So it's a completely process that you need to be follow, Rohan, for the direct
I
purchase,
agree to that,
particularly for the
but
direct purchase.
what to how to work on cases where, like, see, if I have two components from one supplier, whereby the volume for one component is very huge and the second component volume is very minimal, and I, while doing costing, apply transportation charge as 5 rupees per kg on both the components. Is this justifiable, or is just like I'm completing the costing purpose and not working on the actual cost? I mean, how to calculate this transportation cost whereby one of the component is having huge volume and other is having very minimum volume?
So in the case of the, you are saying the less volume is there. So you're maybe, okay,
From
for the
same source,
less,
from same source, from
so
same
you
source.
can club, Rohan, you can club your requirement. Let's say in the single truck, you can use different box for the different product, and you can
So that
club
means,
your invert.
but that is what I am saying. See, I, as in, on costing front, I just do the costing. Then purchasing part is with some other team. So I don't know how they are planning to procure both the items. Maybe the chances are they will procure the item which is with huge volume at one time and the item with less volume second time. Maybe the chances are they are not procuring both the items simultaneously. So the supplier
In
can
this,
raise concerns here.
so in this case, Rohan, I don't think so. They will put the same charges on the same. Let's say maybe for the higher volume, the freight charges need to be less as compared to the less volume.
Freight charges will be less for less volume or more for less volume?
Less volume will be the more, and for the higher volume will be the less.
Yes, okay. So I have to go for two different cost sheets for that supplier, right?
Correct. Because you can't club with the single. You are saying you can't club the delivery in a single lot because it's
Yes, because
depend on
that
the
delivery is not in my control. Delivery and planning is not in my control. That is with other department.
costing. That's the reason. That's why I'm
Costing,
telling the costing purpose. Let's say if they are putting 5 rupees per kg in your costing charge, the supplier is charging you rupees 5 rupees per kg. So you need to be cross-verify with your inbound logistic team, and your inbound logistic team is saying, no, we can pick the material from the supplier with the 3 rupees kg. So you can save the 2 rupees kg. I think
right.
better to go with the expert supplier instead of going with the
Okay,
expert.
okay, one.
So it's a apple to apple comparison. Because
And
see,
on this,
Rohan, we are not using this for the non-production because we are doing only the single transaction. But for the direct purchase, I think this freight cost is playing a very important role. And normally, I think it's maybe the 2% or 3%. So in that case, you need to be check the costing of
actually,
particularly of this
I
freight cost.
myself have I myself have seen that this freight cost is mostly left out in costing. People do not concentrate on this part of the costing. And second point I wanted to ask is, like, you have you just have given us an input in this webinar that the clause DDP for import is used for import items, whereby I have seen the clause DDP used in purchases where we go for local vendors also. So is that DDP clause specific to import, or we can use it in local case also?
DDP, it means delivery duty paid.
Yes, right.
Yes.
But
Exactly.
but but
So normally this is used for the import,
okay.
but some of the buyer is using for the domestic as well. DDP.
So
DDP,
we
it
can
means
use it.
your company,
So
till your company.
we can use it. We can use it in both cases, right?
I think no, we did not to use for the domestic. For the
Okay.
domestic, you can use FOR. Let's say your company name, whatever. Okay.
Okay.
And if you are keeping to the supplier side, so XWorks supplier, your supplier, whatever the name. So for the
Right.
domestic, you need to be put. In case of the
Right.
import, you need to be put the DDP.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Okay.
Very true, Vivek. So procurement is not only about to collect the three codes from different supplier or different vendors. It's also about to make sure about the product or service quality and mitigate the risk and keep business continuity also. This is why something we recommend to our businesses to go with L2 vendor or supplier apart from L1. So money is not very important about business. The important factor is, as I mentioned earlier, like risk factor, quality factor, and delivery factor. Correct? And Vivek, time really flies. So far, so good. And before we really move to close to the end of this session, I have a question to my audience, and it will be very interesting. So, dear audience, please ready. I want to ask a question from you. So, do you know which document we get signed first from supplier side? कौन सा डॉक्यूमेंट हम सबसे पहले साइन करते हैं बिफोर वेंडर और सप्लायर इम्प्लीमेंट से पहले? मैं 4 ऑप्शन देता हूं आपको. नंबर 1 इनको टर्म्स, नंबर 2 फोर्स मेजर क्लॉज, नंबर 3 इज एनडीए एंड नंबर 4 इज एलडी क्लॉज. सो कौन सा हम सबसे पहले डॉक्यूमेंट और या फिर एग्रीमेंट साइन करते हैं? सो वेरी जेनरिक क्वेश्चन, and we will give you a certificate of appreciation to first people who have answered this question correctly. So Vivek, with your permission, can we move forward to end of this session?
Yes, Montu.
And
thank you, team, to giving me this opportunity and hearing me and give your time. Thank you.
And dear all, I will share the session note and recording on social media like LinkedIn and YouTube for our listeners, so that other can also take the benefit of this session. Vivek, thanks for being with us today, and also a big thanks to our participant and their love for their time, for their support. Love you all, and thank you so much. Once again, happy learning. See you soon. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Montu. Thank you.
Thank you.